Hello Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading, so Sag. Today we're going to go over your past, present, as well as your future. So with all that being said, Sag, let's get started. For Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, for their past, present, as well as their future. All right, Sag, in the past, we do have the Three of Pentacles, okay? Your current energy is a Four of Cups. And in the near future, we do have the Queen of Swords. But at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Lovers. And then we also have the King of Swords. Okay. I'm going to leave this out here because I do feel like this is tied to the near future for you. But before we get into all of that, let's focus on this Three of Pentacles energy. So it kind of looks like in the recent past, you met somebody. Okay. So let's look a little bit more into this fairly new connection here. So we have the Page of Pentacles to the Eight of Wands, and then we also have the Queen of Wands. So this person, the recent past that you essentially met, it kind of looks like initially at first, like, you know, communication between you and this person, it was definitely really good. It was definitely on point, but it kind of looks like things start to take a drastic turn here. Within this connection between you and this fairly new person. So communication may have started to essentially die down between the two of you. You know, that's definitely a possibility, but something's obviously happening within this dynamic here between you and this fairly new person. It's like you go from being really, really excited to like disappointed all of a sudden. Kind of looks like you go from being like extremely hopeful when it comes onto this fairly new connection to not being hopeful at all when it comes onto this fairly new person. So let's look a little bit more into what's going on here. We have the Seven of Swords to the World, and then we also have the Chariot out here. Ooh, okay. When it comes down to this fairly new person that you were essentially connecting with, I feel like this person definitely did something on their behalf to like cause you to essentially feel extremely rejected by them. So like I said, like maybe communication was like on point between you and this person, then communication just randomly died down out of nowhere. Maybe this person started to become extremely distant and, you know, withdrawn, but there's just something about them doing something on their behalf that caused you to feel, you know, unwanted by this person, and just simply rejected by this person. It does appear to me that this person really did self-sabotage things here, you know, between you and them for whatever reason. They did self-sabotage things here between the two of you. Let's look at the Seven of Swords. Ooh, we have the we have the well, that makes sense. Okay. It kind of looks like the primary reason, Sag, why this person switched up on you is because there was somebody from their past that they were still very much so hung up on and in love with, is basically what I'm getting. Now, you may not know the reason, you know, behind why this person stopped talking to you or why this person essentially ghosted you or switched up on you, but I'm getting that that's like the reason. It's because this person was still very much so hung up on someone, you know, from their past, because I do see them reaching out to someone that they already experienced an ending with. And it's definitely with this Empress over here. The person that's in the Strength card is the Empress. The person that sits in the Chariot is the Emperor. So these two may have had like a family with one another, or they could have had conversations about starting a family with one another. But moral of the story is that this person, that's the thing too, is that I do feel like this person feels bad. That's another thing too. Like when it comes down to like the way that they went about things with you, like they do feel bad. They do feel bad. It kind of looks like what happened is that these two ended up breaking up. For whatever reason, they broke up. And I feel like this person, you know, thought, well, if I just start talking to somebody new, dating someone new, like I'll for sure forget about this Empress. It kind of looks like it didn't necessarily work out, I would say, the way that they were hoping it would, because the whole like purpose behind them talking to someone else, you know, was because they thought that it was going to help them forget about this Empress and it was going to help them move forward and move on with their life. But it just kind of looks like it didn't really play out the way that they thought it would. If anything, it made them think about this Empress even more. If anything, it made this person want to like work things out with this Empress even more. And because they started to kind of realize that, it prompted them to like run back to this person, I would say, from their past. But did this person want to, switch up on you or leave you extremely hurt and disappointed? Like, was this person's, you know, intentions to just walk into your life and just hurt you and disappoint you in the end? Like, was that this person's intentions? I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I don't believe that it was this person's intentions whatsoever. It just kind of looks like they thought, okay, well, maybe if I do this, that's gonna help me, you know, move forward and move on with my life and just completely forget about this person. And it kind of looks like the complete opposite happened, you know. But I don't feel like it was their intentions, you know, to walk into your life and, you know, waste your time and hurt you. Like, I'm definitely not getting that, because I am definitely getting an energy of them feeling bad for how, you know, they went about their, you know, relationship, you know, with you. I am definitely getting that. But I don't believe that that was like their actual intentions, you know, at first. I don't. I think that what drew this person to you, you know, for starters, it had a lot to do with your physical attraction, you know, that they found you to be physically attractive. I'm sorry, is what I wanted to say. I think that the chemistry, you know, between the two of you caused them to be extremely drawn to you. The conversations they had with you caused them to feel really drawn to you as well. So there was a lot of things that drew this person to you. I'm not going to sit here and say that this person wasn't interested in you, because they definitely were interested in you. I just kind of feel like the very thing that they thought was going to help them move forward and move on with their life, they're starting to essentially realize it's creating the complete opposite effect, to the point where they just feel like they can't continue to proceed forward within this dynamic that they share with you, because all it's really doing is causing them to think about this person from their past even more. All it's really doing is causing them, you know, to want to work things out with this person, you know, so from their past. But I don't feel like this, you know, I don't feel like it was their intentions to hurt you or let you down or disappoint you, you know, whatsoever. But in the near future, Sag, we do have the Queen of Swords, we also have the King of Swords, and then we also have the Lovers. So I do see you connecting with someone new. Now, this person that you're going to find yourself connecting with is definitely a soulmate of yours. I am definitely getting that. So let's look a little bit more into this new relationship that I see you getting into. Okay. Tell me more about the Lovers. Tell me more about the Lovers. Okay, so when it comes down to this fairly new connection that I do see you essentially entering, I want to focus on the fact that you guys are both showing up as the King and the Queen of Swords. So here's one thing I would say that these two basically have in common with one another. You've been through a lot of things when it comes down to like romantic relationships. And because you've been through a lot of things in romantic relationships, it's not easy, you know, for you to trust someone. It's not easy for you to lower your guard down. Because of everything that you've been through. But the same applies, right, for this King of Swords like energy. King of Swords is somebody who has been through a lot in prior relationships as well, making it very challenging and difficult, you know, for this King of Swords to lower their guard down with people, trust people, you know, things of that nature. So here's the thing. Because you guys both have been through a lot in prior relationships, it's not going to be easy for neither one of you to essentially lower your guard down with one another and, you know, feel safe and secure with one another. I feel like it's going to take some time before you guys feel safe and secure with one another, but I do feel like because the two of you have been through the amount of things that you guys have essentially been through in prior relationships, I think that the two of you are going to take things extremely slowly with one another. Like, I don't see you guys rushing into absolutely anything with one another. And I think that that's going to give the two of you nothing but time to like really, really get to know one another and build towards like a firm foundation with one another. Because if you guys were to like rush things with one another, I think that that will amplify, you know, your fear of intimacy, their fear of intimacy, their trust issues, your trust issues, you know, your doubts and reservations, their doubts and reservations. So the fact that you guys are going to find yourselves taking things extremely slowly with one another, it's going to give the two of you nothing but time to like really, really get to know one another. So as you guys are taking things slowly with one another and really, really getting to know one another, you guys are going to eventually reach this point within your relationship with one another where you guys feel safe and secure enough to take things a step further with one another. But I think that initially at first, you guys will take things extremely slowly with one another. And it does have a lot to do with the fact that you've been through a lot of stuff, they've been through a lot of stuff, and the last thing you want to do is turn around and invest into the wrong person. Just like the last thing they want to do is turn around and invest into the wrong person. Now, this is a mutual feeling, by the way. So when you meet this person meets you, I see you guys instantly hitting it off with one another. I'm getting that. And I do see the two of you developing emotions for one another very, very quickly. And I think that that's going to scare the both of you because it's going to cause the both of you to feel like you guys are like signing yourselves up to possibly get hurt and disappointed by one another one day. And I think that the fear that you're going to find yourself experiencing on your end, as well as the fear they're going to find themselves experiencing on their end, is going to influence the both of you to just take it extremely slowly with one another. Because you don't want to make a mistake when it comes on to love ever again, and neither do they. You don't want to invest into the wrong person, and neither do they. So I feel like as time goes by, you guys start to find yourselves feeling very safe and very secure with one another because you guys are taking things slowly and taking the time to like really, really get to know one another. What advice can you give me for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? All right. So we do have the Sun. We do have the King of Cups. We also have the Wheel of Fortune. This feels like a mutual feeling. Yeah, this feels like a mutual feeling. When it comes down to the advice, well, let me start off with the mutual feeling that you guys are going to also find yourselves essentially feeling towards one another. You're going to look at this person like they're too good to be true, and they're going to look at you like you're too good to be true as well. This doesn't feel like a too good to be true type of situation. It just is what it is. You're finally getting what it is that you deserve, right? And they're finally getting what it is that they essentially deserve. Like I said, you guys might be looking at one another currently at the moment, especially if you're already dealing with this person, like they're too good to be true, and they might be looking at you like you're too good to be true, but I'm not really worried about it because I think that the fear alone that you guys are going to start to find yourselves experiencing within this dynamic that you guys share with one another will influence the both of you to take things slowly with one another. You're not going to be in a rush to run off into the sunset with this person, and neither are they. And I think that that is what's going to ultimately cause, the two of you in the end to feel safe and secure with one another to the point where you're going to feel comfortable enough to invest into this person. They're going to feel comfortable enough to invest in you. But when it comes on to the overall advice here, okay, with the Nine of Swords and the Five of Swords coming out here, and like I said, this is definitely a mutual feeling here. Fear is going to start to kick in on your end as well as on their end. And with the Five of Swords, the whole, they look a little too good to be true to me, that's going to be something that the both of you are going to find yourselves essentially experiencing. When it comes down to the advice, though, in regards to what you guys are going to find yourselves essentially feeling towards one another, Spirit wants the both of you to know that the only reason why you're going to find yourself experiencing fear, the only reason why you're going to find yourself looking at them like they're too good to be true, vice versa, is because you two are two people who have been through a lot in prior, relationships. So when you guys do finally come into contact with, something amazing and something good, you guys can't help but to fall into this energy of, ooh, I don't know, this looks a little too good to be true. You guys are basically experiencing something that you guys haven't been able to essentially experience possibly ever or basically in a while, okay? And this is going to take some getting used to for the both of you. But just know that when it comes down to your doubts and reservations as well as theirs, all of these things will essentially dissipate within time. You're not going to forever look at this person like they're too good to be true. You're going to just eventually accept the fact that, you're finally being granted the opportunity to go off and build and establish a life with someone that you could actually trust, that you actually know has your best interests at heart, vice versa. I just kind of feel you guys are not used to like good things happening, honestly, unfortunately. To you, and I just feel like they're not used to good things happening to them either. So this is going to take some time, I would say, before you fully believe that they mean well, and it's going to take some time before they fully believe that you essentially mean well. But the point is that eventually you guys will find yourselves feeling that way about one another. It's just going to take some time, you guys. It's just going to take some time, and the fact that you're not in a rush and they're not in a rush is what's going to make this all like fall into place nicely between you and this person. Because if you rush things with this person rushes things with you, y'all are just basically at that point creating like a recipe for, you know, a disaster, because all of this is going to be amplified if you rush things with this person. So your trust issue, if you have any, it's going to be amplified. Same thing applies for this person. If you guys were to even go off and make a major life decision with one another, it's just going to install the only fear and anxiety within the both of you. It's not even funny. This is kind of why I see you guys avoiding making major life decisions with one another until you guys feel entirely comfortable to do so. This is why we see you guys deciding to not rush things with one another until you guys feel, you know, safe and secure enough to take things a step further within your relationship with one another. These are things that you guys are being divinely guided to do in this relationship, because Spirit does not want you guys to rush things with one another and then somebody gets so fearful to the point where they run in the opposite direction. Spirit doesn't want you guys to go off and make major life decisions with one another either, because it's just going to amplify like your trust issues, your fear of like abandonment, and it's going to happen on their end too. So this is why you guys are being divinely guided to go about this entire situation differently. So if you're used to rushing things in prior relationships, you're being advised to do things differently this time around. Don't rush things. Really get to know this person, and they need to basically do the exact same thing. So things will essentially fall into place very nicely between you and this person. You will eventually find yourself feeling safe and secure with them. It's just gonna take some time. I'm also getting to that as you guys are on this like journey with one another, I'm also getting that the two of you are going to find yourselves reassuring one another from time to time, which is something that I feel like the both of you really do need from one another. Like this person needs to reassure you from time to time, and you're going to have to reassure them from time to time, because you got to think about it. You guys are two people who have been through a lot of shit in prior relationships. So it's not easy for neither one of you to essentially trust a person or feel vulnerable with a person. So the moment you guys find yourselves falling for one another, you guys are going to want to be vulnerable with one another. You guys are going to want to lower your guard down with one another. I just kind of feel like you guys need to make each other feel like it's safe and secure enough to do so. And I do see you guys actually doing that. And this is why I feel like in time, the both of you are going to find yourselves essentially feeling, you know, extremely ready to take that next step with one another. In the meantime, you guys will be taking things extremely slowly with one another, because you guys are being divinely guided to do so. All right. So that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.